Bonjour, hi, welcome, bienvenue. There is much more in Paris to visit than the iconic Eiffel Tower, Louvre Museum and Notre Dame. And even though I love them, I'm very glad that there is much more to visit, such as the museum I will show you today. As a matter of fact, I am very glad that there are 150 museums in Paris, as I can never be bored, even though I visited almost all of them. So today we are going to visit le Musée Quai Branly, and it shows an exhibition that has been curated by the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. It's called Africa Fashion. It shows that fashion is a form of art that reveals the diversity of African cultures. So this museum is quite next to the Eiffel Tower. If you're facing the Eiffel Tower and the Seine River is in your back, it's a few steps away on your left. Going there, the first street on your right and then the first street on your right will give you the iconic spot where everyone wants to take pictures for the networks. But I will show you another very interesting spot to take a picture with the Eiffel Tower that is more unusual. I will also show you a quiet place where you can have a nice break and have a cup of tea, some snack or lunch or a cup of coffee, whatever, but quietly. Le Musée du Quai Branly is a museum I really love because it shows how wide and rich the world is, culturally speaking, and how much cultures interact with one another. The whole museum is conceived as a big territory in 4 geographical areas to be discovered. The African Fashion Exhibition shows the interactions between independence history, geography, and the narratives of artists. African fashion is the heir of rich know-how in the processing of various materials, weaving, dyeing techniques, and complex graphic and symbolic vocabularies. But some brands are rather minimalist, contradicting common assumption that African fashions are always bright and patterned. Contemporary African fashion has become integrated into global trade, partially adopting Western haute couture codes. The funny story here is that many African fashion designers were inspired by French haute couture designers such as Yves Saint Laurent, but as I probably mentioned in a former video, Yves Saint Laurent himself or Poiret or many other designers in France were inspired by their travels, at the point that Yves Saint Laurent himself settled in Marrakech in Morocco. So, there you have it. Creativity is always nourished by something already existing. Even though creativity and innovation are undeniable in African fashion, there are still big challenges in order to become a sustainable ecosystem.
We have his evening wear. During his Paris years, he wanted to rival Saint Laurent with wonderful, fabulous fashions that really celebrated beauty and glamour and the nature of African women. Afrotopia is the most cutting-edge or avant-garde section, and this is really fashion as a tool for storytelling, whether that's personal or political commentary, and it really comes into its own in this section. We did a fashion shoot with Ibi Kamara, who some of you may know from Off-White now, and he was at Dazed. So Liddy, he offered to do a fashion shoot with some of Liddy's garments, and Liddy, myself, Elizabeth Murray, my co-curator in London, we all went to the shoot, and it was so moving because Liddy was saying, "This reminds me of my old days in Paris." So it was really moving, and it was sort of a beautiful experience for all concerned. And just to see her garments, Chris's garments, brought to life again was so special. So that's a lasting memory for me.
Le Musée du Quai Branly is using this occasion to showcase its rarely displayed African textiles, accessories and jewelry. Also, I will show you a clip of a small exhibition that ended this March at le Musée du Quai Branly, and it was called A Traveling Thread. It was very interesting. It was a dialogue between two old ladies, one being Sheila Hicks, a very renowned American artist, and the other being Monique Lévi-Strauss, an art historian who dedicated her life to the study of textiles outside the Western world. They had been friends for years, and what they shared for this exhibition was pure wisdom.
Why do you lose your time with me? Moi, je pense que ce que nous voulons tous, c'est montrer au public qu'il y a d'autres moyens que les moyens courants que nous employons pour nous distraire. Il y a d'autres moyens qui peuvent vous faire rêver. Et surtout, les enfants sont très sensibles. Et de voir des enfants qui regardent avec attention et qui ont du plaisir, ça va déjà beaucoup changer les choses.
Or the lines are drawn into tension, or they're libre, liberté, free. And we move from the plane into space and into sculpture. Add color. And the whole thing bursts open to another immense universe. Shape. Form. And then dream of scale. Dream of a scale that's immense, monumental, or infinite. You never know what's going to happen next. None of the threads are friendly to the others. Each of them are cohabitating in their own way. But they're stuck. You have to find a way. Sort of like our cities. Could be the birds or buildings, or the gardeners, or the refugees, or the architects, or the artists. This is the Kaiser so forbiddus. Michel.
To sum up, Monique Lévi-Strauss points out that it's very important that we can use different means for just relaxing ourselves and watching. Especially for kids, it's very important that they should be able to have an eye, look at things differently. I couldn't agree more, because lately I've been asked to organize watercolor workshop for kids during vacation weeks, and I love doing it, as even if we just watercolor a tree or a seagull, I know that if we watercolor it, they won't look it the same way the next time. So that's very important for me to share this with kids. Le Musée du Quai Branly is very well known for its green facade. It's covered by 15,000 plants. And it also has a very lush garden, very respectful for the environment, mixing species coming from all over the world. Just next to le Musée du Quai Branly, you'll find the American Library, which is the largest English language library in Europe, and it opened in 1920. Next, I will show you another exhibition at the Post Office Museum. This exhibition deals with 2 centuries of social history through employees' clothing. I discovered that the first law outlining safety and health for workers dates back to 1893. The first flight attendant uniforms appeared in the 1930s. And did you know that in 1962, Air France asked La Maison Christian Dior to design its flight attendants' uniforms? Voilà, c'est fini pour aujourd'hui. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you discovered something. I'm not sure what the next video will be about, even though I have a small idea. So if you like the unknown, stay tuned. Until next time, à bientôt, take care, have a great day.